Hi everyone, it's Josh, and today we're going to talk about a DC film that I honestly didn't even think would be made. Aquaman was written by David Leslie Johnson McGoldrick and Will Beall. It was directed by James Wan. James Wan is an Australian film director, screenwriter, and producer. He has played a huge role in the production of a couple of huge horror franchises, including the Saw, Insidious, and Conjuring movies. Even though I'm pretty lukewarm on those franchises and most of what James Wan has directed, I still think he is a very talented and capable director. Now, in terms of DC, I think most of what they've made has been pretty bad. If you've watched my channel, you already know this. I was not a fan of Justice League. I did like Wonder Woman though, which took a less bleak and a much more fun approach. Aquaman takes a similar approach, but it's way more absurd, and it's easily the most ridiculous DC film to come out yet. The plot is a little elaborate to say the least, but this is essentially an origin story about Aquaman, who needs to find an ancient artifact and go to Atlantis to take the throne from his evil brother Orb, or Ocean Master, who plans on waging a war with the surface world, and Aquaman can't let that happen. So, as I suspected, the acting is bad, the story is bloated and stupid, the dialogue consists of these constant exposition dumps that are really annoying, and some of the CGI is really distracting. And you know what, guys? Even with all these issues, this movie is still really entertaining. The two reasons, or the two people who made this film fun for me, is James Wan, or his direction, and Jason Momoa. It seemed like they were the only ones who weren't really taking this movie that seriously and just decided to have as much fun as possible with their respective roles. And why would anyone take this movie seriously? It's Aquaman. He is such a lame superhero with silly superpowers and a stupid costume. I don't think Jason Momoa is a good actor, but he's the only person in this film who has a personality and is trying to just have a blast with his role, and it's fun to watch him do that. Every other character in this movie feels like a soulless Shakespearean water robot whose only purpose is to speak in exposition. James Wan was very smart with how he approached this superhero and the material he had to work with. He embraces the stupid plot, the stupid dialogue, and the over-the-top action sequences, some of which are actually pretty great. Despite how tedious this movie can be, I never felt bored watching it. It kind of forces you to not be bored by finding every single excuse it can to start an action scene. Aquaman is almost 2.5 hours long, and I feel like more than 2/3 of this fucking movie is nothing but action sequences. I'm not shitting you when I say this. There are like 5 times when a dialogue scene gets completely interrupted by a nearby explosion or an enemy crashing through a wall like Kool-Aid Man. Like, oh no, we've had too much dialogue. Time to blow shit up and start an action scene.
Oh yeah! Oh yeah! Oh yeah!
There's like 1 or 2 or 3 action scenes that are completely unnecessary, like the big underwater battle at the end. I guess I shouldn't be surprised that there's another massive CGI orgy at the end of this movie, since DC has done that with like their past 3 films. The first fight scene also feels a little forced, where Nicole Kidman bodies all of these Atlanteans that ambush her and her husband. To be fair, I did enjoy that scene a little bit because it was really well choreographed, and it's really hard to imagine Nicole Kidman in a superhero movie and a fight scene, which makes it both equally impressive and hilarious. What's even more hilarious during this scene is that Aquaman is still only a child at this point, so his father tries to protect him by putting him in the corner of this room where he's still completely visible. And the only thing he does to conceal Aquaman is by putting this tiny ass crate in front of him that's not even close to being big enough to sufficiently hide him. Why didn't you just put him in a closet or somewhere else where he's completely out of sight? And the award for Worst Father of the Year goes to Jango Fett. Even with all the dumb stuff that happens in that scene though, I still enjoyed it. It's still a pretty solid action scene. There are 2 other action scenes that are great in this film. Love the sequence when Amber Heard or Mira and Aquaman are being chased by Black Manta and his goons on the rooftops of Sicily. There's one really well done extended take during the scene where it starts off following this Atlantean who's running through walls trying to catch up to Amber Heard. Then the camera quickly moves out of the building far ahead to where Amber Heard is, where we see her dodging lasers. She jumps on an antenna and uses it to catapult herself to the next rooftop. The camera follows her movement very precisely, and then it goes all the way across town to where Jason Momoa is hiding. And then it cuts to Jason Momoa jumping away from yet another explosion. It was just really well done. James Wan does a great job of putting together all of these action sequences. It always seems like he's thinking 10 steps ahead when he's doing so. I felt the same way about the action scene on the submarine when Black Manta and his men first square off with Aquaman. There's some great hand-to-hand combat choreography in this scene. There's multiple different angles to follow the action, making it feel dynamic, including a perspective shot of a submachine gun, which I thought was really cool and creative. At no point does this particular action scene ever feel repetitive. It is a little stupid sometimes. Black Manta's father definitely fires a grenade launcher into a room where there are multiple nuclear warheads. There's also some terrible dialogue and acting between Black Manta and his father, which was pretty funny. I have a love-hate relationship with the acting in this film. It's often very, very bad, but it's also really funny, so it's hard to hate it. And it's not even like it's just the B-list actors who suck, like teenage Aquaman, who was god-awful. The A-list actors suck too, like Willem, Dafoe, Nicole Kidman, and Patrick Wilson, or Ocean Master, who clearly took on these roles because of artistic expression and not a paycheck. Amber Heard sucks very often in this movie, who plays the love interest. She has zero chemistry with Jason Momoa. But I feel like this movie is not fazed as much as it should be by all the bad acting and all the dumb stuff that happens, though, because it takes all of that in stride in such a gloriously over-the-top and hilarious way. The costumes are even funny. They look so dumb and outdated, like they were taken straight out of an episode from the Power Rangers from the 1990s, and I loved it. This is the type of movie you watch with your friends while you're drinking and have a great time enjoying how insane, crazy, and nonsensical it is. This movie is just a big, loud, extended roller coaster ride that demands your attention with some great action scenes and lots of cheesy and stupid superhero moments. I'm gonna give Aquaman a 3 out of 5. Thanks for watching this review, guys. You are so kind. Please leave your thoughts on Aquaman in the comment section below. Leave a recommendation on a film that I should watch and review next while you're down there. Be sure to check out the other content on my channel. I got tons of other reviews you might be interested in watching, including my previous review of Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse. Hit the like button if you like this video, or share this video, or both, whichever you prefer. I don't care. And as always, if you dig the channel, subscribe to the channel. Thanks again, guys. This is Josh, and I will see you in the next review. Take it easy.